Oh, man. That was exhausting. I think we're just going to have to riff episode 7 here after that.
I don't think I have the brain space.
Oh, my God.
We'll explain in a second.
I am absolutely exhausted.
Seriously.
My blood level or pressure or whatever was boiling through my system has finally mellowed enough to be able to actually focus
To
on
sit
doing.
down. I don't know about focusing, but I'm finally sitting down and I don't feel like a stress case. Should we go into it? Should we explain? Should we start?
I think so, but this G Love is just helping my brain settle a little more.
Soft and casual and mellow.
All right, well, let's kick off episode 7. What are we?
We are Plate and Ponder. I'm Jen Fenton, and I'm here with my husband, Chris Fenton. We are a longtime married couple. We are empty nesters, and we're going to shoot the shit today. But honestly, I don't think we're going to cover anything of real substance because I don't have it in me.
I'm sort of the same way. By the way, between the Los Angeles Dodgers last night and what we just witnessed on behalf of our son, I'm with you.
I'm pooped. I'm wiped.
I don't know if I can be a sports fan much longer because it might take too many years off my life.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you. Thanks for listening. Episode 7. As I mentioned, we're gonna riff. We're not gonna talk about anything of substance. Maybe we'll pull out some random facts, but we're watching a really beautiful sunset. Chris poured himself a glass of Côte d'Aron. I'm sure you're not surprised. I have a glass of Pinot. That's sort of annoying.
You got to aerate it perfectly.
Okay, well, let's just start. So we watched the Dodgers last night, and I don't think either one of us are huge baseball fans.
No, in fact, I will say one of the greatest moments of my sports dad life was the day that my son said, "Dad, I don't really know if I like baseball. I don't want to play it anymore." I was like, yes!
I don't think I even went to any of his games, sadly enough.
And Kaylee never got into it.
No,
either,
she didn't. She didn't. So we've never been the biggest baseball family. I mean, we've gone to a couple Dodgers games and we've had some fun, but it hasn't been like our blue line. We must watch. We stay home and we are glued to the TV.
No, but of course, if it's the World Series and it's our
And
home
we
team
watched.
and
Yeah,
we
yeah.
love
Oh,
Los
yeah,
Angeles.
we're going to root for the home team for sure.
There's a lot of problems with this city and this county and this state, but man, when the sports teams are doing great.
Everybody comes together. It's really beautiful. In fact, we watched it at a friend's house last night, and after they won, you just saw fireworks because we were driving home on the 405, and you just saw fireworks from every which way, and it's our city celebrating. I mean, we take pride, and I love that.
We do, although I think a lot of those fireworks are pretty illegal and probably are
I'm not
going
going into
off
that. I'm not going to go
tough
into the
spots.
logistics of
But
that.
it does lead for a really interesting drive home on the 405. It's like bombs going off all over
it
the
almost
place.
no, it felt like 4th of July.
Yeah,
a little bit. It was
did.
really beautiful. Our dog did not like it, but I thought it was a pretty beautiful thing.
Yeah, where was our dog? I
Our
wonder
dog
if we
was
should put
hiding.
our dog hiding in the closet as the photo for this podcast
Oh, but
episode.
he looked so scared. His eyeballs were popping out. So we watched that, but last night, if anybody watched the game, it was a very stressful game from start to actually. I don't want to say from start to finish, but definitely towards the end, it was very, very stressful. And what sound effect are you going to do?
I was going to say, who won?
The Dodgers! Woohoo! Who was our Van Cleef and Arpels guy?
Yeah, that was pretty interesting, and it just goes to show how. I mean, I am not a fair weathered fan when it comes to certain teams that I love and certain sports that I love to watch, college football, etc. But baseball, I'm definitely pretty fair weathered. I do want to root hard for the Dodgers when they're in it. I grew up a Yankees fan, but
Ooh,
we didn't.
Can you say that out loud on this show?
I think so. Well, because the Dodgers used to be in New York City too at one time.
Yeah, they did.
It was before my existence, but the Brooklyn Dodgers were a big deal. Yeah, I didn't know one of the Dodgers was a big Van Cleef wearer. I had no idea that men could wear Van Cleef. In fact, I didn't even know what Van Cleef was until I think your last birthday when that was something that you really wanted and we went and got one.
Maybe. But he did it well. I mean, he had the blue Van Cleef. He had the matching earrings. He represented that Dodger blue.
And it 100% worked for him. So
Oh, yeah.
if Van Cleef makes you rise to the occasion, I might have to get myself some Van Cleef too.
This could be some sort of sponsorship instead of NIL. Now it's Van Cleef goods.
Well, if Mr. Van Cleef is listening and wants to sponsor this show, feel free. I mean,
yes, we will happily take Van Cleef goods.
And who is Van Cleef? Is that like...
Van Cleef's a designer.
Is it a guy or a girl? Or is
I could do a deep dive if you wanted right now.
But wait, you don't know what Van
actually
Cleef's name is from?
No, but...
I mean, is it a person's name, Van Cleef?
Well,
or is it Mr. Van Cleef or Mrs. Van Cleef? Or
I don't know, but I could look it up.
Well, anyway, it was very interesting to see that, and I'm glad that particular player had some amazing plays, and the Dodgers won. So anyway, for fair-weathered fans like us, we were very excited, and we were definitely with people that were huge fans.
Huge fans. Just, for some background and some data, because I like to do that.
Yeah.
Van Cleef, the genesis of the company, was actually a wedding in 1895 between Estelle Arpel and Alfred Van Cleef. Estelle Arpel was the daughter of a dealer in precious stones. Alfred Van Cleef was the son of a diamond cutter. So the family, obviously jewelers, they stepped into the Parisian jewelry trade, and the union became very big, and they officially launched the company in 1906. What was that?
That's my record scratch.
Oh.
It's cool, right?
No.
Okay. Well, anyway, that's really interesting. I had no idea. And I will tell you that visiting that store there in Beverly Hills is pretty spectacular.
And they have some signature designs like the 4-leaf clover motif. That's probably what you are most familiar with, and it's what you saw on the Dodgers last night.
Are those 4-leaf clovers? Is that
it's actually a 4-leaf clover. Huh?
Oh,
yeah.
So they're supposed to have extra good luck.
Extra good luck, yeah. And they've got mother of pearl and onyx and all sorts of different stones. And the stones mean different things, just like different crystals mean different things. The colors mean different things, and it's pretty cool.
And it helps you hit home runs.
It definitely helps you.
So there you go. Well, anyway, shout out to the Dodgers, and a shout out to all those awesome firework launchers that were along the 405, because it made for a spectacular drive home. And I think our dog has recovered from last night. He's no longer in our son's closet.
No, but I think that our dog had an emotional response to what happened today in the afternoon.
Oh my God. So why don't you walk us through the incredible insanity of what happened in our life, that it wasn't probably as big of a crowd following what we were following ourselves, but still it felt really special.
So our son plays lacrosse in college, and humble brag, but he really does love it, and they were playing to get into the finals and
semifinals, national semifinals in Canada,
right? So the game started at 12. And
we had we had two people over, the parents of one of his
another teammates from Los Angeles. And as Chris has mentioned, our son goes to school in Canada. So to have another LA family that we could watch the game with is pretty special. And it started a little slow.
A little slow. Oh my God. Our kids were not awake for the game. I think they were Halloweening or something. Whereas they played Ottawa, and Ottawa was playing an away game, so they were probably stuck in a hotel and were not allowed to do anything. I don't think our guys were allowed to do anything either, but it seemed as if a handful of them might have been hungover from Halloween festivities. I don't know.
I don't know, but when we finished the second quarter and went into half, I think we were 4 goals down.
Yeah, and you got to realize we're the number 2 seed in the country, playing almost the bottom seed. We thought for sure we were going on to a bye. Like we get a bye, and then we're in the semifinals. Yeah. So we had booked all of our Toronto stuff.
We were considering canceling. We absolutely were. We sort of did. We all the 4 of us that were watching the game looked at each other like, "What do we do? Do we cancel? Do we call the hotel now?" We ended up in overtime winning by
Well,
one goal.
let me humble brag one more time. Like it was a 3-goal lead for the other team. We hadn't scored in, I think, a whole quarter. And then
disaster.
Guess who scored with his weak hand? He's a lefty, but he scored with his right hand. And that was Dylan Fenton. Yay.
Woo!
Shout out to Dylan Fenton. Yay.
Humble brag.
That's actually not a humble brag. It's a full brag. Sorry about that. But anyway, have to do it.
It was exciting. And finally, we picked up some momentum. We went into overtime and we won by one
Well, wait
goal.
a minute. We went into overtime. We went into overtime and we had the ball first, which is key because it's a sudden death overtime like it is. If anybody doesn't know the game of lacrosse, which is a lot of people, it's a bit like hockey. It's sort of the same rules and everything else. So when
It's definitely as physical.
Yeah, it's very physical. It's and a lot of the rules are the same. If there's a big penalty, you end up like instead of a power play, you're in a situation called a man up. So you play with an extra man while the other team has to try to defend against that. But anyway, they started with the ball because they won what they call the face-off, which is similar to hockey, and they ended up not scoring on that drive. In fact, our son was got clobbered in the middle of a ruck, and then we ran out. We had a shot clock that ran out, so they had the ball. And then
that play. Wow. How many times have we rewatched that play?
Yeah, so we simply just because the whole game seemed like we were losing it.
To the point where we couldn't eat, we couldn't drink. We were switching locations in case like the juju was better if you sat in one seat versus another seat. We were taking off sweatshirts, putting on different hats. We were trying everything.
Yeah, and the parents that we were with, their son is actually a 4th year at McGill. So
he's
this
going to
is
graduate.
Technically his last year. And this would have been no way to go out, to be the second seed and to lose to a team that you're not supposed to beat. So it was just high tension and
my neck radiating pain. Honestly, I feel like my shoulders were at my ears the entire time. I was clenched in a ball. I think I was shaking. I was doing what felt like squats, standing up, sitting down, holding on for dear life. My jaw, I don't even know. I was a mess.
Well, and it didn't help because the announcer, so it was on Canadian television, and they had, I think, some Quebecois announcers, and the announcer was just, you couldn't tell who he was rooting for. He's technically supposed to be a McGill announcer because we were the home team, but every time Ottawa scored, he seemed super excited, and he had all the French names. He was like, "Je suis allé au cinéma avec mes amis," like just I don't know what he was saying, and he's like, "Oh, de Rochambeau just scored a goal, yay!" And you're like, and then Dylan Fenton with the goal, it was
number
like
19.
He sounded a little like Pepe Le Pew, and I don't mean to like offend anybody out there that's
you probably
French
are.
Canadian French, but yeah, it was hard to tell exactly who he was rooting for. Other than maybe he was just rooting to be really loud and boisterous every time something happened on the field. So just the whole thing was a complete, I guess, octopus squid of emotion, high tension, and the fear of massive disappointment just lurking in the shadows of our television screen.
But do you know that there's actually a psychological component to watching games?
Well,
there's an emotional, there's a psychological, there's a hormonal thing. Our body goes into fight or flight.
Well, it's funny because I was like, what are the top, because we've been following a lot of serious topics over the last few days because we wanted to put out a handful of podcasts because we got a lot going on over the next 2 weeks. And we were trying to be like, okay, well, what are the things that we should focus on that are serious? And then this thing wired us up so much, and we were like, can we even do a podcast today?
We felt like mush afterwards.
Yeah, you were like, well, wait a minute. You get pretty wound up, and we've been on sidelines of kids' sports and club soccer, club lacrosse, whatever it is, and you see parents getting kicked out of games or getting in fights, and the whole thing is crazy, right? And
what happens is your adrenaline peaks, your cortisol peaks. Like there's an actual hormonal response.
Is that true?
Yeah. Your body
goes, and women?
Your body goes into fight or flight. Isn't that interesting?
I'll never forget what was that? Maybe when Dylan was on a pretty competitive club soccer team, and we were playing some team down in San Diego or whatever. It was in the finals, and it was super, super reckless and aggressive, and kids were pushing and fouls were happening all the time, and the parents started getting into it, and I was just sitting there with another dad because I'm as much as I'm super excited about watching my kids play things or be involved with things, I'm also not a big like jerk on the sideline. Like,
no,
I'm
you actually cheer for the other team.
I do
probably
cheer for the
more
other
than
team.
You should.
When the other team makes a good play, I always like, wow, that was a great play.
And
Congratulations.
all the parents on our team look at you like, shut up, man.
I know, but I just love watching good
you're
competition.
You are a good sport. Like,
and
no
then
pun intended.
And when people yell at the refs, I'm like, guys, chill out. These people, they're doing this for our kids. It's not like they're making $1 million a game.
Okay, but I'm going to
there.
call you. You've totally yelled at the refs before, too.
I have not.
Yes, you have.
No, I've never done it to a ref.
Oh, you just do it behind their back.
No, but I've complained. I'm like, oh, that was a terrible call. But I don't go, you ref, you don't know what the heck you're doing.
You've never
I've
done that, but
done
you've
that.
definitely complained about a call. But
Yes.
your blood pressure also goes through the roof. Like, there's an actual physiological standpoint, and then the psychological component. And that's what I didn't know. And of course, I did a little bit of research on it. But the question was, why do we care so much? And one of the things that it came back with is this identity. And for many fans, a sports team is part of their social identity, right? So you get so wrapped up in this identity and whether or not this team's going to win that it becomes this very, very emotional roller coaster that you are watching. And, if the team wins, you feel the sense of pride. But if they lose, it is just disastrous. It's failure. You feel like this loss has happened.
Well, so I think there's probably a lot of different layers to it, right? So there's probably that version of the parent watching their kids play.
Well, that's another
right?
component. So that's
because
actually
that's a blood. I have blood on that field, and I am really deeply care about this team
so
and that player.
If I may, that's something that my research came back with too, that loss of control. Since you're only a spectator, you have zero control over the outcome. And when it comes to your kids, right, when they're little, especially like as parents, you kind of have control over their entire life. So as you're watching them on the field, as you're watching them on the court, as you're watching them do whatever they're doing, you have zero control over that outcome. And that causes some sort of a crazy emotional hormonal spike too, because you can't do anything about it. You care so deeply about it. Whether or not they win or lose, you just care. So that's a huge stressor, which causes your blood pressure and your heartbeat to rise.
And the last thing you want to hear is like when you're fighting, you're watching your kid, your daughter, your son fighting tooth or nail, and they're down by 1. You just don't want to hear this. Which is the end of the game, and they lose. It's like,
and then you should play the wah wah.
Yeah, then it's that. Yeah, it's
and
a
then you
sad
pack
trombone.
up your stuff, and you got to drive home.
But that brings me back to that story. I was in the middle of saying, and then of course I got distracted because you were talking about the complexities of all this and the emotional situation in people's heads, but. In a real scenario, we were in San Diego and we were watching this very tense game, and the 2 moms from our team and a mom from the other team went at it.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And
they
ran out in the middle of the field, and they went at it as the game was ending, like pushing and shoving each other on the 50-yard line.
So embarrassing.
Oh my God! And then the thing that I guess you never want to do to another woman is rip their smartphone out of their hand and throw it as far as you can. Because when that happened, it was all hell broke loose, fists were flying, and then every husband, other than me, because I was like, what the hell is going on out there, was like in the middle of this ruckus, and it was like refs were in it, and they had to have security guards, and the police came.
Imagine
the
if
whole
your
thing was
kids
nuts.
saw that?
Oh,
Honestly,
our kids saw
would,
it.
No, but
I mean, Dylan was like,
sure, but like
laughing about
what
it.
I'm saying is, can you imagine the kids of these 2 moms, how mortified they must have been to see, their parents go at it like that?
Well, I was thinking, and I remember talking to the dad next to me. I go, oh my God, I hope there's like no smartphones catching all
Well,
this.
one
which
of them
I'm
was
sure
thrown.
There were. Yeah. But I mean, heaven forbid you work at like, I don't know, Goldman Sachs or United Technologies or something, and you're, hey, what'd you do this weekend? Oh, I saw you on Instagram. You got in a fight with another woman and threw her smartphone.
So
And
embarrassing.
then the husbands get into it. And then suddenly you got people getting fired from jobs over like a little
Over
club
a kid's,
soccer game.
right?
You know, it's
Yeah,
crazy. So anyway, when you talk about this stuff, it's I'm curious the layers of it. So you got your own flesh and blood on a field.
Sure.
That's your kid. I mean, sometimes you see a parent get. I mean, I've seen you get upset when our kid gets decked playing lacrosse. You're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" You
Get
know,
off
like,
my
and you're
kid.
like,
Well,
and
yeah,
then you
'cause-
realize, wait a minute, that's okay. I'm gonna back off, and that's an instinct that you have. Your kids, you want to protect them.
Sure.
But then you have, like you said, this passion that people have about a sport that they don't know anybody on the team personally.
Well, maybe they do.
But it's part of their psyche because of where
Their
they
identity.
live and their identity and all that stuff. And then I would imagine there's even another level, which is what people feel about a team that represents maybe their nationality, their country, their race, whatever it is, and the passion that goes behind that. Because obviously a lot of us have been to, say, English soccer games in the Premier League, and the way those people get behind a Manchester United or
it's like,
Chelsea, it's incredible.
It is incredible. Well, that goes to a little bit of the empathy and the contagion, which is when you are sitting in that stadium, there is actually something that happens when you're watching with friends, when you're watching with other fans. There's this emotional, contagious aspect. And if everybody's riled up, you guarantee you're going to get riled up too. And if everybody's sitting there, boo, or this sucks, or come on, pick it up, you get into that downward mentality too. So it is contagious.
Well, you can see it even on a team between teammates.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I mean, was it in the Dodger game last night where there was, in the Dodger game last night, a Toronto Blue Jay got hit in the wrist or whatever by a pitch.
In the hand.
And then next thing you know, he's yelling at the pitcher's yelling back at him. Then they have to sort of hold them back. And then next thing you know, the bench is clear. And then you even have the pitchers out there in the bullpen who are like, oh, I was not supposed to have to do any running tonight. I'm not on for this game. And they suddenly have to get up off the bench and run and make sure everybody's okay. It's sort of an interesting scenario. So you have this, it's almost like a mob mentality, I guess.
It is. It absolutely is.
So is there a solution to this, or is there a...
No, because here's what I'm actually going to say. To some extent, there is a sense of community, and that's a really beautiful thing. And we talked about it at the last episode, how kids on smartphones are looking for that community, and they're doing it technologically as opposed to in person. But when you're watching a sporting event, even if it's in your living room, you don't have to be at the stadium, you don't have to be, where the game is actually taking place, but there is a sense of belonging. And that's a really beautiful thing.
That is, and it actually creates that camaraderie that creates the bond of teammates or even people that root for the same team, almost the same way, say, a church rallies a community around each other, or various other sort of clubs, or a fraternity or a sorority or different clubs, whatever it is. There's that sense of belonging. It's almost like a going back to the tribalism instinct of humans, right?
Yeah.
So
we experience the ups, the downs, the blood pressure, the cortisol, the community, the empathy, the loss of control. We experience that all last night as well as today, which is why we are both emotionally and physically spent.
I wonder if it's like, say, the World Cup is coming up next year. Like that's where the United States competes on a field against all these other countries. I wonder, given the bifurcation or the divide of Americans right now, you got red and blue divided, or you got the, red states versus the blue states, or, the elites against the, working class, or whatever it is. I wonder if that common glue, the glue that bonds us as a nation to root for our own team as they take on other teams around the world. I wonder if that could be a nice unifier of this country.
That, or I think maybe your campaign to keep windows down when you fly, or slow lid toilets. So you've got 3 options.
I do think if we had a standardized toilet that just fell
I'm giving
and
you some
softly.
options to think about, so you're not pigeonholing yourself.
Well, that would bond all men for sure. And actually, it should bond
should-
women too,
I don't
because
wanna-
don't you guys hate the fact that there are lazy guys that don't lift the toilet seat?
Yes, but I will tell you, I don't sit on toilet seats that are not my own. I squat and I use my thighs and my butt to like stand up. I'm not sitting on dirty
We don't need
toilet
to get
seats.
too graphic here.
It's not. But I'm not.
all
Okay, fine. But I'm not
ages.
sitting on a dirty toilet seat.
Yes.
That's gross.
I do remember getting scolded by a member of your family for
You can say it. It was my mom.
Yes, allowing I think it was my daughter to sit on a toilet seat.
Well, I think
on
she
the
was-
airplane
yeah.
because we were hitting massive turbulence.
She was, I think, maybe 2 or 3 years old. You took her to the bathroom like a good father, and my mom did not like the fact that you allowed her to, I guess, touch the toilet seat. But I think you actually put the paper down, didn't you?
I did. Well, the reason it came up is because I took her back there because she was dying to go, and the seatbelt sign was on because we were supposed to hit turbulence. And then lo and behold, we're in the restroom and I'm trying to get her ready to go. And we hit like just massive air pockets of turbulence and everything's
must have been
flying
so
around.
scared.
And I'm like, oh my God, I can't hold her like this. And then she's going to pee I didn't like, it was hard to navigate exactly how this was going to work. So ultimately I did just put her on the seat and I held on to her and let her do her thing. And of course, when we get back to the seats, your mom goes, oh my God, I was worried about you guys, how'd it go? And I was like, oh, she took a pee. And she's like, you were able to hold her up so she could like pee without touching the seat? I was like, no, I had to put her on the seat so she could go. And she's like,
You could hear a pin drop.
she was like, didn't she say she was going to call child services on me or something? Like I was like, I did the best I could. She had to pee and there was like turbulence flying us around and toilet paper rolls. I mean, it was not a good scene.
No. Aw.
Anyway,
sorry.
and then of course to end it all, I went because I had to go, and then I tried to softly close the seat with my foot, and it slammed, and it made everybody in the back think we were going down. Like it was just a terrible situation. So anyway, that would be a common bond that would bond most men is just standardizing the toilet seat. But
How long have we been talking? Just curious.
well, we've been going 27 minutes.
27 minutes about sports.
But I think they say the rule of podcasting is to never say how long you've been talking.
Oh. Did I just
so we
break
just
the
went
cardinal
through the
rule?
fourth wall.
The fourth wall.
Or whatever you call it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got to be careful of that. But I will say it is hard not to go on and on about the sports and the passion behind it. And particularly, I think club sports and crazy parents and all that kind of stuff. We could talk forever about that because I've seen
We've been those
it
crazy
all.
parents. Honestly.
No, we've never been the crazy parents. We've been passionate about it.
Okay, fine.
But
Passionate.
I've never been kicked out of a game. I've never
No, you have not.
gotten into it with another parent.
No,
like
you
if
have
anything, I'm the
not.
guy that's trying to break it up and be like, guys, this is a game between 12-year-olds. Like, what is the problem? Like, why are you
right.
pushing
but
and shoving?
it's emotional, and oh my gosh, I actually want to go to sleep right now.
I can't because I'm still wired from that damn game. Like literally the whole game we were down and I just started, all I could think about was why are we sort of sucking, number one. And number two is, oh God, did a hotel reservation I book have like a cancellation fee? And then what about the damn flights I had? And that's where I was going. And I was angry because I was like, oh, I'm with these parents that have a senior and this is going to be his final game. And then,
But it wasn't. And I will say we spoke to our son and then we spoke to their son afterwards, and both boys kind of had the same response. Dylan's was like, I do not even know what just happened there. He was super excited about the win, but there was a little bit of like, what the fuck just happened?
So let me ask you something. So we've been on this sports subject for a while. So why don't we switch gears and then we can sort of wrap it up, because I'm sure everybody's like, you guys have been talking a little too long, and they even checked the time on this one. That's That's not good. But
Sorry.
when it's a Sunday night, right? Like it's a Sunday night.
Yes.
Where does your mind go, oh, I love Sunday nights. It's so restful and peaceful. And yeah, I got to go work tomorrow, but you know what? I'm looking forward to a week and it's going to be really exciting. There's a lot of things I got going on. Or is there still that like almost a dread? I mean, I remember when I was working 90 hours a week at the William Morris Agency, and it was like Sunday night. It was like the one night you actually had off, and you were still having to do coverage on scripts, but you still felt like you weren't at work, and you were just dreading the fact that you had to get to the office at like 7 a.m. and start the whole week over again, even though you were sort of excited about your career, but it was like, where's your head?
Okay, when we had younger kids, Sunday was my favorite day of the week, especially Sunday night, because it meant that the kids went to school and I had some quiet and I had some semblance of serenity in the house, right? Because you didn't have the kids running around, you didn't have the mess every place. There was just order, because during the school day and the school week, it's a very structured schedule. As an adult, I definitely look forward to the weekend. I love Sundays. Sundays, even growing up, like you'd hang out with friends, you'd have family dinner, you watch TV. I also really like what I do. So me going to work tomorrow isn't a wah-wah. I'm excited for what the week's going to bring, and I'm excited for what I get to work on, and I'm excited to collaborate with my colleagues. And then I'm also excited that we get to go to Toronto and see our kid in the semifinals.
Yeah, well, I'm also excited about and we have some friends that are house sitting for us while we're gone, because they're super excited about coming down to the beach and doing that thing. So that's nice. I always feel like it's fun to hand it off for a couple of days. And then on top of it, I think about tonight, and we're going to go get some spicy Thai food and walk the dog.
Night.
And then I think is tonight a Housewives of
Real Housewives
of
Orange County. Yeah, I think it's the last episode before the finale, and I did see some clips about the reunion, and it's gonna be spicy.
Can I just tell you the Salt Lake one that
good.
we caught up with the other day?
Yeah, you like it, don't you?
OMG.
Well, because they're on a yacht and they're yelling at each other, and nobody's
and
having
Chef Ben is on it, and Chef
there,
Ben is acting as if like he can't even handle these women.
Would you want to? Honestly, it's a little embarrassing. It's as if the two women that were fighting at the soccer game were on the super yacht throwing drinks at each other there.
Well, all I know is he's been there, done that. He's seen it all, right? And then to see him irritated by this scene and the fact that he's like, I can't talk to those people. That's cray. I got a little nervous about it. It is quite a yacht that they're on, and it has,
I know. I did ask. I was like, could we ever go on one of those?
Who knows? Maybe a couple of the investments I made pay off in a big way. I don't know. I mean, God would have to shoot a bolt of lightning down on a couple of our holdings. Maybe, you never know.
Have you ever been on a yacht?
It depends on how big you need to call
this
a
was
yacht.
A super yacht.
Yeah, I have never been on a super yacht before. I've been on the back of yachts at different events and gone to parties on them, but I've never actually been overnight on a really large yacht.
Right?
No.
Look pretty cool.
It does look really cool. It's a lifestyle of the rich and famous.
Oh, I remember that show with Robin Leach.
Robin Leach?
Yep.
What happened to that guy?
I think he died.
Oh, he died.
Sorry.
He died of gluttony?
No, I don't think
gout?
that. No, I don't think that. I think
Not
he died, though.
Rich man's disease or anything like that.
And then MTV did Cribs, which was kind of like an offshoot of that.
Interesting. Well, I think it's time for us to sort of wrap it up with this one I call Dock of the Bay. Doesn't it have a little Dock of the Bay ish thing?
I'll give it to you because it's a Sunday and I'm emotionally drained.
It just feels like a Sunday evening type of song, right? And then we get a little wine, a little spicy Thai, walk the dog, and
watch some Real Housewives.
Watch some Real Housewives.
I love it. Thank you, everybody.
We will miss you guys. We'll be back on in a couple days, but we really appreciate the follows, the downloads, and the recommendations. Until next time, we love you all.
Have a good night.